Hello everyone, VJose32 back here with another edition of What's on Deck. Actually, What's on Kickstarter. I'm going to break it down into two videos, otherwise it becomes just ridiculously too long. It's already long enough as it is, so let's try not to make it any longer than it needs to be. Let's get on with it. We're going to look at everything that's currently on Kickstarter, get you all up to date. I don't really know why I do these videos, because anyone can just go on Kickstarter and look at what is on Kickstarter right now. All you have to do is search for playing cards, but people seem to like it, so why not? So first of all, we got the King's Game playing cards from Bonafide Playing Cards. It is funded 7 days to go. There is an update on this one that I should mention, and that is they are now printing two different decks instead of just two different boxes. One of them is going to be more limited than the other. I don't remember which one is which. One is going to be obviously black and the other one's going to be white. But it's going to be the white deck inside the black tuck case and the black deck inside of the white tuck case, which is a little bit strange. You can see here it is the other one. I'm not sure which one is the limited edition or not. Oh, look at that. Black House, White House. Kind of cool. And also, of course, he said there was a reason why some of the court cards are one way and some are mirror image. Personally, I would prefer them being one way or the other. Seems like the jacks, well, I mean, again, here the queens and this and the reds and the diamonds are mirror image, as are the jacks and some of these. But queen and king of spades are one way. So I don't know. Personally, I would have preferred them to both be the same. I do like that they decided to do another deck, even if it is just a color change. And even though I'm not a huge fan of black decks because they are way overdone nowadays, from what it seems. The black deck will be printed by Extra Playing Cards, as will the white deck. The white deck is the limited one, only 500 being produced and never reprinted again. I mean, they're pretty nice. I've backed it myself. The artwork is well done. The theme, I like how they've done the theme, even though it kind of looks more like a dartboard than it looks like more like it's related to darts as opposed to chess when you look at the back design. Still pretty nice, and I understand. At first I thought it was a silly idea to do black cards in the white tuck and white cards in the black tuck. But then, they reminded me how it is about chess and how it makes sense. Just like in the chess pieces, you're going to have the white pieces on the black and the black pieces on the white. So it makes sense, and I like it, and I support it, and I recommend checking it out. Moving on, we got the Diamond Playing Cards number 5, Winter Warmth from Diamond Playing Cards. It is funded 13 days to go. Not a huge fan myself. I've looked at it, so we'll move on to the Bicycle Prism Gilded Red deck from Collectible Playing Cards. It is 66% funded, 17 days to go. Not sure it's going to make it at this rate. It may, probably will. It is pretty pricey at $40, and when you factor in currency exchange for most people, it gets even more expensive. So it's a bit of a turn-off. Plus, I'm not really seeing the prism effect in the gilding in the pictures they posted, which is a little bit concerning. Then we got the Kiss Me Playing Cards by Bokobo, which is 49% funded, 14 days to go. And it does not look like it's going to make it. If it wasn't, Kiss Me and didn't have all that writing on it, and it was just more of a cardistry deck, it might fund a bit easier. But since they decided to incorporate Valentine's and threw all that writing on the back design, that was unnecessary. Kind of ruined it a little bit. Then we got the Essentia Playing Cards relaunch from Menken Chan, which we looked at last week. 72% funded, 17 days to go. Looks like it will make it, I'm assuming, at this rate. And we got another new one from JD14. It is the Hoodie Playing Cards. It is 57% funded, 17 days to go. Let's look at this one. And it's pretty interesting, pretty anime, if you will. A nice, well, I mean, it's not bad. Let me just see it. It's cute, if you will. And it's about this character, Hoodie, which is a magician cat. Aha. Is this playing cards for 5-year-olds? I don't know. I mean, the back design is okay. I mean, it's a little silly with that cat silhouette in there. outside of that, it's not bad. It's an interesting, unique color scheme that we don't see very often. The face is also a unique color scheme. Spades and clubs in this pale green color, hearts and diamonds in a pink type color. And court cards, completely custom with the cat figure hoodie on there. So I mean, it's well done. It's a little bit silly for my liking, I suppose. But it's not bad, it's cute. And there's of course, the Joker paw print. And there's a gaff card that's blank on one side, thank you on the other side. Apparently only one Joker and one gaff card. I'm assuming it's not USB produced. It is John and JD14's Playing Card Printing Company. I have no idea what that means, but I assume it's printed by MPC like before. It's on a comfy thinness, whatever that's supposed to be, and a 300 GSM stock. Right. They rounded the corners, as you can see here. They decided to point that out, which is always nice. Some decks, they put in a square corner like that with a rounded playing card corner, and this way actually looks a little bit better, I think. Risks and challenges, nothing except natural disaster, which seems to be happening everywhere, so it's a big risk. There's mudslides and earthquakes and crap happening all over the world, floods, so that's a big risk depending where he lives. But it's an okay deck, it's a fun deck. I don't know if I'm going to run out and buy it myself or back it myself. $10 US. One deck is not bad. I don't know what the shipping cost would be for that. It's $18 to ship to Canada. No thank you. Moving along. Not for that type of a deck. Not for any deck on Kickstarter would I pay $18 for shipping to Canada. Jeez Louise. Next we got the Ecliptic Zodiac point cards from Chris of the Inco. 69% funded. Who doesn't like 69? Small joke. 30 days to go. It should fund in a matter of time. It's doing pretty well. It's a pretty big goal too. It's got $20,000 Canadian already, or American, whatever that is. Tasty playing cards from Pedro Usoanga is 79% funded. 17 days to go. I assume it will fund in a matter of time. It's slowly getting there. It is what it is. And next we got the Draconian white playing cards from Randy Butterfield, aka Midnight Cards. Very well funded. 4 days to go. It's a pretty low goal. Short campaign. My understanding is this was already produced, so it's bending the Kickstarter rules just a little bit. Just saying. Only a $1,000 goal US. This was made available previously through the backer kit to people who backed his last Draconians project. And it's a nice kind of blue and white color scheme. Same back design, same faces. But, I mean, you gotta have the complete set. So you gotta get it if you got the other ones. Nice foil on the top cases. And possibly some embossing. It's a matte stock. Pantone black and gray. UV spot ink. Blue foil. Right. So no embossing, but it's pretty nice. Says that this is one of the coolest tucks he's created in the last 6 years, with 50 different ones he's designed, and I agree it looks pretty cool. I can't wait to check it out. Hopefully it comes soon enough. As you can see, modified standard quartz and modified colors. If you've seen the other Draconian decks reviewed on my channel, or you have them, you know what you're going to get. As you can see, very beautiful. Very nice, simple but nice. If you haven't seen them, you can always check out the review on my channel of the other Draconians. But it's definitely worth checking out. And it's $13 US plus shipping. Not bad with shipping to Canada. $3. That's more like it. $18 to Canada. My ass. There goes my never mind, I'm not collecting any ad revenue at the money, so fuck it. Butler Brothers playing cards by Parker Butler is 15% funded, 6 days to go. Dan and Dave already did this idea. At least the logo. That's their logo basically. And I mean, you compare that to the Smoke and Mirrors decks, it looks pretty much the same for the logo. So it's a lame idea. And the back design was overly exciting. It's supposed to be innovative and whatnot. Hardly, I would say so. And it's not going to fund as a result. We have another new one here though, Hypnotic playing cards from Spielkartenshop. It is 21% funded, 28 days to go. Spielkartenshop is a shop, I think they're from Germany. I've placed some orders with them in the past. Have not done so lately just because the currency is such a killer. They are from Germany, in fact. 4,300 euro gold, and it's slowly getting there. The cards themselves remind me, and I mentioned this on Facebook when I saw them posted. It is designed by Sam Hills, aka Dos Prod, the same guy who designed the Carnival deck, so that's always cool. I like the back design with the spades incorporated in this hypnotic optical illusion design, and they got that on the back design as well, the optical illusion. But the first thing I saw when I saw this was the Ogma deck that came out a few years ago from Skullcore, which produced 2 decks and disappeared from the face of the earth for some reason. But I mean, it's the same color scheme. They also had that optical illusion look to it. This one might be a little bit easier on the eyes. I don't know. Not affecting me yet. It's you know, it's a decent back design, I suppose, for what it is. I like the name, Hypnotic. Bases are what you'd expect, standard with custom pips, and custom pips on the number cards. Simple custom ace of spades, kind of a pinkish color for the hearts and diamonds, and interesting jokers. Actually, 2 different types of jokers it looks like. I'm not sure if they're going with one, they're going with the other. They're probably going to have 4 jokers from the looks of it. Personally, and these are going to be printed by Cardamundi, so it's going to be good quality. If you've not experienced the Cardamundi's B9 finish, I recommend checking them out. A little bit surprised it's not USB-C, but at the same time, not overly surprised because they are right there in Europe, so it makes sense for them to produce them and fulfill them right from Europe. It is 10 euros for one deck. What's shipping gonna hurt me? 13 bucks to ship to Canada. I can wait for Murphy's or someone else to pick it up. That's for sure. Moving on, Floral Hummingbird playing cards by Carlos Cheyenne Tezeda, which, I mean, you look at the King of Spades, it looks like it could be a decent idea. It's just not put together well. The back design is horrible, in my opinion. That's the back design you see there. And it's not going to fund. 7% funded, 18 days to go. Let's move on. I mentioned that one last week anyways. There's the Fucky Brand, I don't know what it is, by Joey Miner. 69% funded, 20 days to go. Wasn't a huge fan of it. It's kind of goofy. It is a mirror image back, I believe. You know, I guess it's kind of fun. Only 1,000 being produced. Trying to make his own brand. The logo is basically borrowed from Supreme brand. Next we have the Alter Deco playing cards, once again from Lord's playing cards. It is funded, 25 days to go, pretty low goal as it is. And this is a relaunch. Vintage playing cards, it says. It's been in the work for several months now. Right. I've seen this before on Kickstarter. Unless it's a vintage design, a recolor. It's an okay back design. Simple, kind of classic looking. Being produced by Nades Cards. I have never gotten any decks that are produced by Nades Cards. I have no idea what the quality is going to be like, or the stock, or the finish. However, I assume by the low goal and the fact that I don't have any decks produced by them, that it's not going to be terrific. Only 108 decks being printed, 310 GSM linen card stock, numbered seals, classic finish for greatest durability, longevity, and handling. Alrighty then. That is a really lame looking seal. That's it. Not very spectacular. The aces, they're okay. They look like aces seen in other decks. I do like the font that he used for the indexes. The aces, they're okay, but they're nothing extraordinary. And the chord cards are basically kind of vintage styled modified USB-C. And it took months to come up with this. Are you kidding me? The Joker is kind of plain as well. Right. I'm curious. They've had 9 projects. They did try this one before a year ago, and it failed, and they're bringing it back now. Wow. Took it a year to get that out there. I'm just curious because I know they've had a lot of projects. You can see that was cancelled. They had 2 that were successful. I'm just curious as to how they went. Okay, I don't see. This one guy commented that they were terrible, had nothing but problems and negative feedback about the 1 out of 7 decks they tried producing. Lack of updates. But it does seem like they finally fulfilled this one. But let's check out. I know the individual one, this one here, the first one that funded, had issues. Here you go, this guy again. Quality was horrible. That speaks volumes for the quality of playing cards and why I won't back them. Terrible quality. Flush better things. He pledged for a blue deck, got a black, and the worlds he's flushed better looking things away. I'm guessing he's talking about the court cards. Says it's the crappiest ones he owns. If he has to learn something new about cards, he's going to use those ones instead of ruining another deck. Lack of empathy, complete disregard for quality control of the cards, utter disdain for customer service has driven me to the decision that I'll never back anything else you put out. So, people, before you back for the altar deck of playing cards from Lord's Playing Cards, be aware that they do have had issues. The quality was not great. Customer service issues. Buyer beware. And I would not recommend that one. Outlaw Playing Cards from Lee McKenzie is funded for this to go. Don't remember if I mentioned, I think I did, that he unlocked the, I guess it's a limited edition deck, the, whatchamacallits. They're very nicely designed, beautiful. I recommend checking them out for sure. Could have done something different with the back design instead of putting Outlaw on there, perhaps, but it's not the end of the world. It's a, kind of a brand. It looks nice. There is the Outlaw Hellriders right there. Limited edition marked decks. Apparently, they are also stripper decks now, so that's pretty interesting. And you can only get 6 of those per person, or per backer. But I did see in an update that they're going to be stripped. At least that's what I saw. That's what I understood. There's an itchy here. Next up, oh my goodness. We got the So Do deck, calligraphy playing cards by Inizo Cizeo, which I'll mention. It does not have standard poker faces. It's made more for cardistry. It is funded, 18 days to go, but for me, I have absolutely no interest. Much like this next one here, which I have not seen before, the quirky illustrated playing cards, and yeah, that describes it. Barbara, Zadzos and Felix Jung is 6% funded, 28 days to go, and I don't see it funding. It's a pretty big goal, 3,000 euros, and it is definitely quirky. All the faces look the same, by the way, just different hair and bodies, but it's the same face, basically, or more or less. I mean, this one's got different eyes, the one on the left, the King of Diamonds, definitely has different eyes than the other ones, but more or less the same face. And yeah, that's kind of scary looking. What the hell is with those bodies? Why are they freaking squares? I do like the colors they used on the number cards. They're interesting, unique. The Ace of Spades. What the hell? The Ace of Spades is supposed to be the coolest card in the deck, and they basically said, nah, screw it. We'll just make it a pip. I don't get that. The back design is, it's interesting. It's a one-way back design, which is unfortunate. But I could definitely see, some cards kind of liking that back design. I'm not a huge fan myself. It's okay. They have a different back design, ironically, here for some reason, which is not a great back design either. Why would you do that? Okay, it's a prototype, so just change the back design, but why would you show images that have that back design on it if you're not going to go with that? It just makes no sense. Just take a picture of the faces with the prototype. 12 euros for one deck. Also, you can get $12 for $12. You can get an early bird that also comes with a whistle print of one of the cards, whatever that is. Doesn't seem like it's worth it for me, and I mean, it's not bad shipping wise. Of course, we have highly recommended the Apothecary playing cards from Alexander Chin, the next 2 decks in his Apothecary series, the Seasons, to complete the set. It is extremely well funded, $115,000. That's the best funded playing card project I've seen, well, this year, and in some time. The last one that did that well was the Name of the Wind that came out last year, not the Albino Dragon one, although that one did quite well as well. That is ridiculous. I can't believe how much he's made on that one. That is ridiculous. Holy jeez. Moving on. You got the Savage Majesty playing cards from Leslie Casilli. I think I mentioned this one last week. Interesting looking. 77% funded, 17 days to go. May or may not make it. Sisterhood of Blood, Volume 2, launched a week ago by Kirk Slater. It's a relaunch. 57% funded, 33 days to go. Slowly but steadily getting there. And I highly recommend checking it out. It is a 10,000 pound goal, which is not completely outrageous. This is the second one in the series. It features all female core cards, of course all vampire related, and it does have names and backstories to all those characters on the core cards and throughout the deck. Printed by Expert Playing Cards, same as the first deck. I like it. A red deck, red borders, and there's something different. Hey, it's not black like every other deck on Kickstarter. Literally, I mean, almost every other deck on Kickstarter has a black deck for some reason attached to it. This one is different. It's a beautiful back design, if you can consider skulls beautiful. I mean, it's very nicely done. Ornate, a lot of beautiful details, a lot of stuff within there. Beautiful code cards, similar to the first deck, but different, I believe. And I mean, again, they're beautifully designed, but again, they've got blood dripping from the mouth, so it is what it is. Beautiful designed aces. Again, I wouldn't mind if the Ace of Spades stood out a little bit more from the others, but sometimes it's nice to have all 4 aces just kind of, fit together like that. And beautiful jokers. Well, nicely designed jokers that are a diptych. And of course, a tuck case that is covered in blood in the inside. Nice coin. I've had no issues whatsoever with Kirk Slater and his previous projects. He supported the channel, and I recommend checking it out. The one thing I would argue is that the borders on the backs could be thinner. Look at the borders on the first deck, which also had a very nice back design, compared to the borders in this deck. What the hell happened there? Seemed like they could be a lot thinner, but also I think that adds a little something, having a bit of a thicker border with this design in particular. But that's just me. Moving on, I do highly recommend checking that one out. Let's get that one funded. Next, though, we have the Grid Series 2 typographic playing cards from Luke Wadey, which I mentioned last week. 85% funded, 28 days to go. It will fund in a matter of time, I'm sure. Next, we got Wasteland Alice, the Red Queen's deck by Stephen K. Smith. It is well funded, 25 days to go. Have not seen this one yet, so let's have a look. First impressions on this one. Looks like there is poker chips, which is kind of cool. And one-way court cards. Okay, kind of interesting. It's basically an alternative take on Alice in Wonderland from what I get. Right off the bat, not a fan of those aces. I prefer the aces to be aces. They are not figure cards. They are not court cards. Never a huge fan of when they decide to put figures on court cards, whoever it may be. The artwork though is, I would say, pretty well done. Looks like there's an alternative Kickstarter exclusive tuck case. I would say it's a tuck case. Or actually it's a different deck. There's two different decks. Basically just a different color on the faces. I don't like that black deck at all with that color. It looks very neon-y and not that great. And that's all I'm seeing. The back design is that. It looks like a back design we've seen many times, just a different kind of a color scheme, slightly different, but basically it's a skull and bones back that we've seen too many times in projects. It's an okay deck. Like I said, I would prefer if the aces were just aces as opposed to figure cards. And the King of Spades is just a skull, apparently, just a skeleton, which is kind of interesting. I mean, the artwork is designed well. I suppose you don't really get a very good look at the court cards. It's smaller pictures. There's the back design. Reminds me of a demon deck that came out from North Arts a year or two ago, whatever it was. There's the Kickstarter exclusive. Bright colors, bright ass back design, and black faces. And I see they also got like a shadowy image within the faces of the cards, which is kind of interesting. I mean, they're not bad. I'm not sure if that color scheme works so well with the black deck. What is the cost to these? $12 for a coloring book. Oh my goodness. $15 for the red deck. Apparently there's also a Kickstarter exclusive Red Queens deck. Right? Yeah, the Kickstarter exclusive one. I get confused because they say the red is the color. But the exclusive one is $18 US for one deck. It's shipped free within the US. If you want one of each, it's going to cost you $30. And what's the shipping on that? $20 to ship to Canada. No thank you. Epic Japan playing cards from card deck is currently 41% funded, 17 days to go. Not a bad looking deck. I mentioned that one last week. Whether or not it funds at this rate, I'm not sure. It's a little bit iffy. Then we got Metropolitan playing cards by Vieri Balaboni, which I mentioned last week. 9% funded, 20 days to go. It's not a great deck at all. Not a great looking deck. I mean, it's an okay deck. Not my cup of tea. And apparently, it's not very popular with anyone else. It's not going to make it. Then we got Trash playing cards, which are exactly trash. As Matt Hardy would say, delete, 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 delete. By Logan Theobald. Now, apparently it's done kind of more as like a joke, and from what I can tell, they are blank-faced, so basically it's more for like cardistry. So it's got a limited appeal. It's not very usable for a lot of stuff, and the fact that there's blank faces, I'm not sure cardists are that interested in that. They would prefer double-sided cards, like the Spuds. So it's only 9% funded, 17 days to go. It's not going to fund. So the joke's on the creator, apparently. Video game playing cards by Jandusoft is funded, 12 days to go. Wasn't a huge fan, and I mean, if it was video games that were very mainstream and popular, that would be one thing, but there are a bunch of video games that I've never heard of before, for the most part. Then we got Bicycle Illusion from Magic Trick Store, collectible cards. It is 93% funded, 12 days to go. It will fund. It's just a matter of time. It's not a bad looking deck. Ours, Gosia playing cards by Bale is 62% funded, 9 days to go. Funding wise, looking a little bit iffy at the moment, but may or may not make it. Spud playing cards, green edition from Hong Nguyen is funded, 16 days to go. Not my cup of tea. I mean, it's an interesting design, but it's just two different faces. There's no playing card faces. Calling them playing cards is, to me, wrong. They're not playing cards. I mean, yeah, you can play with them, you can juggle them, but they're not playing cards. They don't have playing card faces. They are cardistry cards. Let's get into the habit of calling them what they are. Playing cards are playing cards. Cardistry cards are a totally different thing, in my opinion. Art of Cardistry, Geometry playing cards by Dylan Prescott is funded, 18 days to go. That's another one that I'm not a huge fan of. The back design is not overly exciting. Fairly standard on the faces, if I recall correctly. Pretty limited. It's also expensive, if I recall correctly. That's right, they're like $40 each. No, thank you. And they're not that exciting. Printed by MPC, and definitely a pass. Next, we got Cardistry Ninjas, Kiwi playing cards by Handlords, which is funded, 7 days to go. We'll have a quick peek for the hell of it. And here we go. It's basically the same as the previous Cardistry decks that DeVoe has done. And it's the Ninjas brand. It's Kiwi Ninjas because of the color scheme. It's very bright, really pops. It'll be great for cardistry. I wonder how many different color schemes or color swaps he's going to do of these cardistry decks, because it's getting a little bit ridiculous right now. But I am a backer, I believe. And, you know, I'm a fan of this cardistry series. They're fine for handling and they're colorful. So why not? But basically the same as the other cardistry decks you've seen from him. And then we got the Bicycle Antagon playing cards from Mikhail Spatola, which is basically a relaunch of a previous deck with a new name and Bicycle branding. It is 51% funded, 20 days to go. I don't see it happening. Again, if the court cards were designed a bit better, so off their assets a bit better, as opposed to chopping them off, it might do better. But this guy has not had any success with any of his projects, and I don't see it happening here. Black Roses playing card, second Immigrant Edition by Daniel Snyder is funded, 8 days to go. It's basically a green version of the previous deck. I mean, it's a nice matte design. No longer exactly black roses, it's green roses at this point in time. I would say. Which you should just call it green roses, quite frankly, I suppose. But, I mean, it's okay. It's one that I might look at later on. Then there is the Bicycle Monster playing cards from Will Roya at playingcarddex.com. I do recommend checking out this store. They have a lot of great products, and I've had no issues with them. And he throws in free cards in each package that he sends out, so you can, over time, perhaps make your own rainbow deck. That's always fun. Anyway. This one is, I think we looked at it, it is 94% funded, 14 days to go, so it's just a matter of time. The Sumi coin from Card Experiment is funded, 11 days to go. Figured I would just point that out, because it is related to a playing card project. The Pink Skull playing cards by TCC and Mebius is 81% funded, 66 hours to go. Will it fund? I have no idea. At this rate, it's picked up some funding. It's in its last couple of days. It's not been overly popular. If anything, it's going to be up to resellers to back it right now. Rump's Disaster Relief cards by Daniel Kutemeyer is 45% funded, 7 days to go. Not going to fund. And then we got the Planets Venus number 2 out of 8 deck by David Goldkind. It is funded, well funded. 7 days to go. We'll look at this one quickly. Very nice color scheme. The pink, I'm pretty sure it's foil on the black. I am down for one. There's also a limited edition, because why not? Tuck swaps. I'm not interested in that. I don't care. But there's a limited edition. 500 decks in a dark blue tuck case. Very nice looking tuck cases nonetheless. And nice court cards. The Ace of Spades is very nice as well. And the Jokers are pretty cool. And then there's the back designs. It's interesting. And it's not bad. It is a one-way. And I like it. I do recommend checking them out. They're definitely different. And this is 2 out of 8. And you can see when you put all the cards together, the Jokers, I guess it is, it will make a complete little map of the solar system, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it is the Jokers. The map cards, as I call them. Which I guess aren't the Jokers. It's an additional card. But yeah, very nice. Printed by USB-C, so the quality is going to be good. And designed by... I don't even want to know how to pronounce that name. I mean, I do want to know how to pronounce it, but I couldn't tell you how to pronounce it. There's too many consonants in there, and not enough vowels. Good grief. Sredzan? I don't even know. Vidakovec. And like I said, there's 8 in the entire series. And you can actually back to get all 8 at the same time. I have not done that because I don't want to wait until December to get all 8 decks. I'd just rather just pick them up one at a time. Plus, you don't know what the shipping cost is going to be. And we got, wow, a serial killer tarot card deck. And it's a circular tarot card deck. I've never seen one like that before. Does not look very appealing at all. Why would you want to promote serial killers? Yeah, pass. Moving on, we got the Alighieri Dante's Inferno by D. Rodriguez, 79% or 74% funded, 14 days to go. May or may not make it at this rate. It probably will. It's, you know, not a bad looking deck. I just have other similar themed decks that I prefer, which I've mentioned. More tarot cards. I don't even want to know what this is. More games. Is there any more playing cards? Not really. Oh yes, there's a Sid Rummy by Mason Adams, 76% funded, 5 days to go. They've actually somehow amassed, to my amazement, over $10,000 for this. A bunch of words on the back design. No thank you. It may fund at this rate, it may not. Anyway, that is it for Kickstarter. Stay tuned. I will be doing another video looking at other stuff happening in the world of playing cards. There's a few things to talk about on Sir. And stay tuned for that. And comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of any of these projects, or all of these projects, or whatever you want. And I'll see you next time with more